everyone, welcome back to Makeup Banter. We're back for episode number 2. It only took me an entire year to come back to the podcast. I know, sorry. Last year was just a very busy year overall, so I didn't really have the time to come on camera and film like a whole podcast episode, but I have ideas and I'm very excited to be back, so hopefully more episodes throughout this year. For today, just like last year, I've decided to come on here and talk about my favorites of 2024. So that means favorite TV shows, movies, books, fashion trends, music, concert, artists, all of that good stuff. I also asked you guys on social media for your favorites, so I'm going to be talking about those as well. And I'm going to be doing all that while doing my everyday makeup look, or the look that at least has been my everyday go-to look for the past week, because my everyday makeup keeps changing all the time. If you're new to Makeup Banter, this is like a podcast in which I'm going to be talking about a specific topic while doing my makeup, but this is not like an actual makeup tutorial in which I'm going to be demonstrating and talking you through every single step. Although you get to see me do everything and I'm going to list the products down below, I am going to be talking about a different topic. For today, it's favorites of 2024. So if you want to hear me talk about that, or if you just want to see how I create this very fun, simple and cute everyday makeup look, then just keep on watching. Okay, I think I'm going to start with TV, because that's what I started with last year. I believe this year I watched 50 TV shows. I didn't finish 3 of them, so 47 if you will, but yeah, that's a lot. I tried looking into how many I watched last year and I couldn't find it. But yeah, 50 is still a lot. I don't know how I do that, but I just love watching a lot of TV. One of my favorite shows, which is actually the first show I watched in 2024, was Fool Me Once. It's a show that's inspired by one of Harlan Coben's books. And throughout 2024, I watched a lot of shows inspired by his books. I still have not read a book by him, but I feel like I should, because I really enjoy the TV shows that come out inspired by his books. If you're into plot twists and trying to figure out what the hell is happening and these dramas, I feel like these shows are for you. Fool Me Once is my favorite out of all of the Harlan Coben inspired shows that I've watched. The plot twist by the end is crazy. Basically, you're following this character whose husband just died and you're trying to figure out what happened to him, but the moment in which you find out what actually happened, insane plot twist. I loved it. And also something that happens a little bit before that, I think it's one of the last few scenes in the show, crazy. I absolutely loved it. I can't get too much into it because otherwise I'm going to spoil it for you, but I so recommend this show. This man that died, he comes from a very wealthy family and they're all crazy, and his wife, who is the main character, she doesn't really get along with them. And it's just so much fun, because you're watching it and you just want to binge watch everything all at once, and you're trying to put all the pieces together to try and figure out what happened. Insane show. 2024 was also the year in which I watched some shows that were actually not new shows, shows that have been out for a few years, and for some reason I had just never watched them before. And that's what happened with the show You, which actually ended up becoming one of my favorite shows of all time. I don't feel like getting too much into it because You has been out for a while and it's one of the most popular TV shows of the last few years, so you probably already know about it. But in You follow the life of Joe, who's played by Ben Badgley, who has become one of my favorite actors. Love him. I love when an actor is able to play a character that's so different from who they are, because he has a podcast and I watch his interviews. I listen to some of his podcasts sometimes, and it's just so fun. But yeah, you follow this character Joe, who's a little bit of a stalker. The show has a lot of plot twists once again, and just want to binge watch everything all at once to figure out what the hell is going on, and it's just a very addicting show. And I loved it. I had 4 seasons to watch all at once and loved all of them. I feel like the last season 4, was not my favorite. I still loved it, but it's very different from the others. Again, I can't really say why, otherwise I'd spoil it, but if you watch the show, it is a bit different from all the others. I wasn't the biggest fan of how the last season ended. I'm very curious to find out what they're going to do with season 5, but it did have a little plot twist right before the ending that I wasn't expecting, which was very fun. I also really like the character Love Quinn, who is, little spoiler, Joe's wife. I get to see her in season 2 and season 3, and I feel like she's one of the best characters on the show because she's just as crazy as Joe, if not like worse than him. Season 3, the last episode, probably one of the best episodes I've ever watched out of any TV show, really. It's just so crazy and I loved it. And truth be told, I really want to be Love Queen for Halloween. So if for this year, when October comes and I do my like Halloween outfits and makeup inspo content, don't be surprised if you see Love Queen up there. Speaking of TV shows that have been out for like a little while, and speaking of Ben Badgley, in 2024, I finally watched the show Gossip Girl, which is crazy because this show has been out for what feels like forever. But when I was in middle school, I knew a lot of people who watched the show and they would always talk about it. So in the episode in which you find out who Gossip Girl is, like my friends were all talking about it, so I knew who Gossip Girl was without even watching the show. And I told myself, you know what, I'm going to try and forget who Gossip Girl is and then I'll watch the show. It's been years since 7th grade and I still haven't forgotten who it was. So I decided to watch it either way. And now that I've watched it, I feel like knowing who Gossip Girl is, like, that wasn't a big thing on the show. Obviously, they're trying to figure out who Gossip Girl is and you get to find out in the last episode, but I didn't feel like that was the main point of the show. Had I known that, I would have probably watched it a lot sooner. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite shows of 2024. I felt it was so great. I binged watched the entire thing in like 1 to 2 months, I think, and I just didn't want it to end. And now I want to watch the reboot, but people say it's not as good, but still I just need something like a tiny bit similar. And speaking of shows that came out like during those days, I also watched Pretty Little Liars for the first time ever. I watched the newest version, like original scene in, what was it called? Summer School, I think. I watched it earlier in 2024 and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to watch the original Pretty Little Liars. And I'm so glad I did. I feel like it's one of my favorite shows of 2024 as well. I binged watched the entire thing in a month. I just didn't want it to end. I was getting a lot of TikToks about Pretty Little Liars, especially the Dollhouse episodes on my For You page. So I was very excited to get to that part of the show. It kind of disappointed me a little bit because although I loved the Dollhouse episodes, people were really hyping those up on TikTok and I feel like my expectations were very high. Still loved it. Would probably love to read the books, so let me know if they're any good, because I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of missing information in the show. But at the same time, Caleb, for example, he's one of my favorite characters and I've heard that he's not on books, so I don't know. I've also been getting a little bit more into anime. I've only watched like 7 or 8. If you watch anime, 7 or 8 is not a lot by any means, but at the same time, if you don't, it's probably a lot. In 2024, I finally watched Nana, and I feel like I put a lot. I'll try to fix it in a second. I watched Nana, and it is now my favorite anime I've ever watched. It is so good. If you watched my What I Got for Christmas video, you know my best friend got me Nana stickers. The art style is just so cute. I can't stop staring at the stickers. They're so pretty. The reason why I decided to watch Nana was honestly because of the fashion. Everyone says it's a very fashionable show and a lot of the characters wear Vivienne Westwood. And Vivienne Westwood is my favorite designer ever. So I'll be honest, that was the reason why I started watching the show. And in the beginning, it seems very fun, very cute. I mean, and it is very fun and very cute. It's these two girls who have the same name and they randomly meet up at the train. The show also has a little bit of like a music part, which I love because one of the girls, she's in a band, and so there's a lot of talks about it, which I also loved. And yeah, the show is just so cute. I wish it never ended. But unfortunately, the last few episodes are the most heartbreaking thing I've ever watched. I would still recommend it, and now that I finished Nana, I started watching Paradise Kiss, which is also created by the same woman who created Nana. So yeah, if you have any recommendations after Nana and Paradise Kiss, please let me know. But yeah, looking at my list, I feel like those are some of the shows I wanted to talk about. I do have some honorable mentions to Spinning Out. Very cool show. I know I was like very late to the party, but still very cool show. What else? Raising Voices. It's a Spanish show, but it has Nicole Wallace, who's an actress that I really enjoy. Max Hall, The World Between Us. I love that. Sex Lives of College Girls. Good Girls Guide to Murder. What else? The Perfect Couple. Nobody Wants This. And One Day. Oh my god, One Day. Beautiful show. Last episode, heartbreaking. I made a terrible decision of watching that show at 3 a.m. after not being able to sleep, and the tears were running down my face after that last episode. It's insane, but I would recommend it. It is a very beautiful, very well done show. I did ask you guys on social media for like your favorites, so let me see what you guys said for shows. I got Breaking Bad, Prison Break, Arcane. I also got Criminal Minds, New Girl, From, Lost. This show From, it keeps getting recommended to me on HBO, I think, when I open the app. Should I watch it? Let me know, what is it about? But yeah, I actually haven't watched any of your guys' favorites, although I do know that a lot of them are very popular, so maybe in 2025. Alright, let's move on to movies. In 2025, I watched a total of 28 movies. And I feel like with movies, I'm very bad at remembering what happened. I just know that I liked the movie, period. Because in shows, you get to like follow these characters' lives for a few episodes, right? And in movies, it's like an hour 30 to 2 hours usually, and it's done. But I will say that one of my favorite movies of 2024, and probably one of my favorite movies, period, it's actually the first movie I watched in 2024, and it is Anyone But You. Like everyone and their mother, I became obsessed with this movie. I loved it. I could not stop talking about it. I watched it 3 times. I could not stop listening to the soundtrack of this movie. Like, the addiction was very, very real. I was already a big fan of Sydney Sweeney, and then I became a very big fan of Glenn Powell. I watched a lot of his movies in 2024. I had already watched them in another movie prior to Anyone But You, but in Anyone But You I was like, okay, wait, I've been missing out on this. As someone who loves rom-coms, I feel like in the past few years, like rom-coms just have not been rom-comming as they used to, and I feel like Anyone But You did a great job. Like, it's a rom-com, yes, you get the love aspect of the show, but it's also very funny, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. Speaking of Glenn Powell, another one of my favorite movies of 2024 was Hitman. This was like another very popular movie, I feel like. Before I watched it, I felt that it was a very like action-based movie, and yes, you do get a little bit of action, but that's not like the main point. I feel like you get a little bit of romance, the drama, the comedy. It is such a funny movie. I feel like it is a very good, like a feel-good, easy-to-watch movie if you just want to watch something like simple but fun. I would totally recommend. It has a little bit of everything, so it's literally good for everyone. Another Glenn Powell movie that I watched in 2024 that I really liked is a little bit older. It's called Set It Up. Again, beautifully made rom-com, and I've heard rumors that he and the girl who plays the main character, I'm seeing her face but I'm forgetting about her name, so I'm gonna Google it. Zoe Dutch. Yeah, I don't know why I forget, because I've watched other things with her on it. Anyway, they're actually planning on doing another project together, which is very fun. Some other movies that I watched that I liked were Easy A. I finally watched it and I really enjoyed it. I really like that era of cinema, so I need to get more into it. Like, those days, people are doing a lot of like coming out of age movies, and those were really fun. Let me see my list. I finally watched La La Land and The Notebook. I didn't watch La La Land for the longest time because I felt like I wasn't going to enjoy it, but I did, and now I just talk about it a lot. It is a very fun movie, even if you're not into musicals, which sometimes I wouldn't say that I'm against musicals, but sometimes it's not my favorite thing. But I really enjoyed it. Another movie that I really liked was The Idea of You with Hannah Hathaway. I know a lot of people were like hating on the movie, saying that it was like very weird or just a silly movie overall. I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and that girl gets me. Some others from my list are Disturbia, which if you're into like psychological thrillers, I would totally recommend. It is a very good movie. I also watched Missing, which is also a very fun movie for people who enjoy those types of like trying to figure out what the hell happened, and it has a plot twist by the end that I was not expecting. I watched Challengers, what else? Game Night, It Ends With Us, Ready or Not. I've been wanting to watch Ready or Not for the longest time. I'm glad I did. I loved it. It is a very good movie. I finally watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which was also very fun. What else? Puppy Love with Lucy Hale. I really enjoyed it. It kept getting recommended to me on streaming apps, so I decided to watch it, and I'm glad I did because it's very fun, very cute. I watched Beautiful Disaster and Beautiful Wedding. I didn't love Beautiful Wedding as much as I loved Beautiful Disaster, but I really enjoyed Beautiful Disaster. Dylan Sprouse was actually my first ever celebrity crush, so I enjoyed those movies. And I also watched Your Fault or Culpa Tuya, which is like the second movie in the Culpable series. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one, but it was still fine, and I'm very excited for the last one. But yeah, that's it as far as movie goes. I mean, I'm sure I forgot about something, and as I'm editing, I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have talked about this, but... So let's check some of your favorites as well. I got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Past Lives, Edward Scissorhands, The Notebook, and Nora. I really want to watch Nora. I haven't watched it yet, but I really want to. Yeah, those were some of your favorites. Moving on to music, I feel like this one is very predictable, but I listen to a lot of Sabrina Carpenter. She put out her new album, Short and Sweet. I feel like now 9 out of 10 times that I open Spotify is to listen to that album. I loved it, and I'm very excited to see her in concert not next year, because we're already in 2025. In a few months, on my birthday. It's very hard to pick a favorite song. I feel like it depends on the day, but I really enjoyed Good Graces. I'm very excited to listen to that one live. I'm so happy that it's the second one on the set list, so I'm not like too tired, because I just know I'm gonna be like dancing and screaming and singing and jumping and all that. Another new album that I loved was Radical Optimism by Dua Lipa. You guys know, like, Dua Lipa and Sabrina Carpenter are my girls, my favorite artists ever, and I really enjoyed Radical Optimism. I feel like it's a very good album when you don't have someone from Twitter telling you it isn't. Just because it wasn't as popular as her previous album, I feel like that does not mean it's not a good album, and I love it. As a longtime Dua fan, I feel like you can really like see her growth in a lot of songs throughout the album, like Falling Forever, which is actually my favorite song of the album. Like everyone else, I did listen to Brat and Chappell Roan and all the popular music throughout the year, and I did really enjoy it as well. Some other artists that were on my Spotify Wrapped this year were Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo, which I feel like makes a lot of sense because I saw them both in concert, and you know, when you're going to a concert and you just start listening to that artist a lot. So yeah, I finally saw Taylor Swift. That was my first concert of the year. It was my first time seeing her as well, and obviously it was the Eras Tour. I loved it. I'm not someone who listens to Taylor Swift like 24/7, but I'm also not one of those people who became a fan because of the Eras Tour. And as someone who goes to a lot of concerts, I feel like that was generally one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Everything was so like well done, and the fact that you get to listen to a lot of years of music in one show instead of it being like her most recent album and just like 2 or 3 songs from different albums as well. It was very fun. It was very nostalgic to like listen to all these songs that you grew up listening to. And the overall like environment, like once you walk in, you see everyone in their costumes and their outfits and trading friendship bracelets. It is very, very fun. Yeah, I had a great time. And by the way, I have like all these concert vlogs on my channel if you want to check them out, for all the concerts that I've been to. So speaking of concerts, the second concert of the year was Olivia Rodrigo in the Guts World Tour. I had a lot of fun. It was my first time seeing Olivia as well because she had never been here before. Although I was a big fan of Sour, so I was very sad that she didn't come to Portugal for that tour. But truth be told, she did play a lot of Sour songs at the Guts World Tour, so I was very happy about that. But it was very fun to see her. She just genuinely looks like she's having the most fun on stage, and the energy is very contagious and everyone was having a great time. I'm actually going to see her again this summer. So I'm very excited to see her again because I had a great time at her show. And then my third and last concert of the year was Dua Lipa at the Radical Optimism Summer Tour. It was a music festival, so it was a bit crazy, but I did get front row for that, which I'm very happy about because I've been a fan of Dua for years, like since 2016 I believe. And although I had been to her shows before, I had never seen her from front row. I had to wait hours and hours. It actually wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I waited and I saw her from front row and I was very happy that I did because I had the best time ever. My camera died, but I think I was talking about Dua and her show, right? I had seen her before, but this was my first time seeing her from front row and I had a lot of fun. Her shows are so much fun, like with all the dancing, and I just get so tired because the energy is insane, but I loved it and I'm so glad that I did and waited all those hours to see her. It was definitely worth the wait. Another artist that I listened to quite a bit in 2024, I was about to say 2025, scary, was Ariana Grande. She put out a new album, Eternal Sunshine, but I feel like I wasn't just listening to that. I was listening to Ariana period, like just all her projects on shuffle. And yeah, I really love her. I've seen her before, like many years ago at the Dangerous Woman tour, and I really want to see her again. But yeah, I feel like that's everything when it comes to music. Again, probably forgot about something, but you know, let's check out some of your favorites too after this highlighter portion. I think I'm gonna add another one on top because this is not highlighting as it usually does. What is going on? Yeah, this one is it. That's more like it. Okay, so as far as music goes, I think I got a lot of your answers. I got Zayn, Halsey, Madison Beer, Taylor Swift, what else? Serena Carpenter, Brat, Falling in Reverse, Peruka, what else? Brad, Short and Sweet, Lana and Billy at Coachella, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Guess with Billy. I loved Guess with Billy. I kept listening to it so much. Radical Optimism, Sabrina Carpenter for sure, she's so good. Taste. Okay, next up, let's talk about books maybe, because I have a Goodreads account, right? And last year I read 3 books. So this year I didn't want to overdo it, but I knew I wanted to read more than 3. So I set up my goal of the year up to 5 books. I ended up reading 9 books, which I'm happy because that's better than my goal, but I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to book number 10, but it's actually January 12th and I've already read an entire book, so that makes me feel a little better. I'm gonna go on my Goodreads now and like just read the entire list because I'm afraid I'll forget about one. So let's see. I read Icebreaker and Wildfire, both by Hannah Grace. Love them, but we'll talk about it in a second. I read Pretty Boys Are Poisonous by Megan Fox. It's a book of poems that Megan Fox, like the actress, wrote. Really enjoyed it. Then by Estelle Mascamé, again, I said this last year, she's one of my favorite authors and I feel like I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sorry. I read 3 books by her, Dare to Fall, The Making of Mila and Blake, and Somewhere in the Sunset. Then I read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover because I knew I was going to watch the movie and I had the book here, so I just wanted to read it before watching the movie. And I finished the year with 2 books by Liz Tomford, which were Mile High and The Right Move. So I started the year with Icebreaker and I loved it. I feel like it's a perfect read for like the winter for some reason. I mean, it's good for any time of the year really. It is a good book, but the fact that it was winter and it was cold, it made sense. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that after reading that book, I watched the show Spinning Out. I think that's what it's called. Just because I wanted something that gave me that vibe. I really enjoyed it. I had never read anything like by Hannah Grace, and then I read Wildfire. I know a lot of people think Wildfire is better than Icebreaker. I loved Wildfire, but I think Icebreaker is my favorite. And now I have Daydream, which is a new one, but I started it, but I haven't finished it. I think I only read the first chapter. I need to like just pick it up and do like start to finish. My favorite book of the year was Somewhere in the Sunset by Estelle Mascamé. Like everything that I had previously read by Estelle Mascamé were like collections, like trilogies. That was the first one that was a standalone and I loved it. But oh my god, did the ending make me cry. It made me so sad. I think it's the first book that made me cry like ever. But it is a great book. It is such a pretty and beautifully written romance. I would definitely recommend that book to like literally everyone and their mothers. It is so good. I loved it. It's one of those things in which like you read it and you love it so much, but then it's really hard to explain it. But basically it's about, I don't even know what to say. But here's the book. This is the cover. It's very cute, and it's 2 perfect strangers in San Francisco, Gracie and Winston, have their futures mapped out. I think she was like a content creator, like influencer, and he's a police officer, but like new in the police. It's just, this book is so beautiful. Be prepared to be so sad by the end. You've been warned. I also read Dare to Fall by Estelle. Another standalone, beautiful, loved it, but I think Somewhere in the Sunset is still my favorite, but it is also very pretty. I also read Mile High, which is very popular, I know. I only read it like very recently, like in the past few months, and I really enjoyed it. So then I read The Right Move, but I was very sad because I really wanted, like, I just never wanted Mile High to end. But I really enjoyed The Right Move, so now I feel like I need to read all the ones from the Windy City series. Let me know which one is your favorite if you've read them, because I've only read the first 2. But yeah, and I also read the Megan Fox book with a lot of poems. It's very easy to read and it's very beautiful. I enjoyed it. The moment when you do your eyeliner and you just like have to shut up. Are they going to be twins? Are they going to be sisters? Are they going to be cousins? We'll see. I'll be so honest, I don't even know what these are. They're probably not even cousins. Just going to do some setting spray and then we'll see your favorite books, because I think I have a few answers for that question as well. This is always a fun experience. Please tell me I'm not the only one who goes in with a beauty blender and sets their setting spray. I once saw like Nikki tutorials do this and I've been doing it ever since. I feel like it definitely works. Or maybe it doesn't and it's just in my head. I don't know, but I feel like it makes sense at least. Alright, so your favorite books were I Who Have Never Known Men, Happy Place by Emily Henry. I really want to read some books by her because I know they're very popular and they seem very cool, but I still haven't. Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and Imogen, obviously. I've heard about this last one, but I don't know anything about it. I just heard about it. But yeah, I've never read any of those, but hopefully this year. I set up my goal on Goodreads for 10. And I'm already on my 2nd book of the year, so hopefully I get there this year. I also really want to read the Nana mangas. I know the story is a little bit different from the anime, so I really want to read it. I know it's a little bit more heartbreaking than the show, still. I really want to find out what happens. So yeah, maybe I'll read that this year. Gonna take a little break from talking to do my lashes probably because I don't want to mess it up. Ow. Sometimes this hurts. Is it just me? Am I doing it wrong? Anyway, I'm gonna use my favorite mascara ever, YSL Lash Clash. I'm not really going to talk about my favorite makeup products of the year in this video because I already uploaded a video just on that. It's called, I believe, my top 10 makeup products of 2024, and it's out now if you want to go check it out. I talked about this mascara and I talked about a few other products that I loved, and not only do I oh my god, I just hit my eye. Like I was saying, I not only talked about my favorite products, I also apply them in the video. So if you want to find out about some good makeup, just watch that. As far as fashion trend goes, there were some very interesting and fun trends in 2024, and I'm now realizing it is a challenge to talk while trying to do my lip liner. A trend that I really enjoyed was kitten heels. Crazy statement coming from me. Because I used to, 1, hate very thin heels, 2, hate very short heels, and 3, hate pointy shoes. And I feel like that's a kitten heel. So how did I end up having 2 pairs and wanting 2 more? I feel like I saw a lot of people come up with cooler ways to wear kitten heels, and that made me want to try them, so I got a pair and then I kind of became obsessed. I really enjoy wearing them with pants, because then you don't really see the shoe, you just see the heel standing out. I don't know how I feel about this lip, I'm gonna be so honest. I'm trying this new lipstick today, but you know what, why not? But yeah, I enjoyed them quite a bit. I feel like with a skirt and a dress, not really for me. However, with a pant, chef's kiss. Another trend that I really enjoyed was the cheetah print. I got so many things with cheetah print, guys. Like a skirt, a dress, a bag. It kind of was the year of bags for me now that I think about it. I got quite a few bags, and I'm not gonna say I'm not, but I didn't used to be the biggest bag person ever. So I don't know. I also wore a little bit more brown, brown bags, brown shoes, and golden jewelry, which is not something that I used to do. There was also a period in time in which I was very into cowboy fashion. A little bit in the summer. Still enjoy it, but it's just not something that I'd see myself be a fan of, but somehow I enjoyed it. Fashion is one of those things in which I feel like by the time I get to edit this, I am going to be I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. But yeah, for now, I think that's all. I can't believe I did all that just in time to finish my makeup. So now the hair is down, outfit is finally completed. Look, this is so cute with the little bows. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today's episode, for today's video, if you will. Those were all my favorites of 2024, and this is my go-to makeup, my everyday makeup look, or at least it has been for the past few days, because it keeps changing. Because I just love experimenting with makeup so much. But yeah, those were my favorites. Let me know your favorites as well, and based on the favorites that I talked about, let me know if you have any suggestions, because I'm open for it. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're not yet following me on my other social medias like TikTok and Instagram, etc., everything will be linked in the description box below. I'm a little bit more active over there because I post every single day, and I do a lot of makeup and fashion content over there, so make sure to check it out if you want to. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great 2025, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!